What's up, y'all? I'm finally sitting down to do my Q&A video. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to wait until I was in a different location so I wouldn't have to talk and be weird to my roommates. So anyways, I took questions on both YouTube and Instagram, so I'm gonna go through as many questions as I can. There were a lot of questions I wanted to answer, but I couldn't, so I'm gonna ask the ones that either piqued my interest or the ones that I saw maybe asked a few times. So yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna start with the YouTube comments first. I'm sorry if I mispronounce anybody's name. Aziz the dog asks, what's your favorite webcomic, video game, and how did you get into the furry fandom? I don't have a favorite webcomic. I don't really read webcomics that much. I read Homestuck for a bit. Couldn't get into it. But video game, Pokemon is my favorite video game I play. If you're asking me about my favorite video game that I just like in general, I'm really into Overwatch right now, but I don't play it because I don't have any of the systems that play it. So, and how did I get into the furry fandom? This one's actually been asked a lot, but I'll answer it here first. I got into the fandom kind of out of, I want to say accident. I was looking up cosplay and I found like fursuit cosplay and I was like, what is this? This is rad. And the more I got into it, I stumbled upon Furfinity in like 8th grade or something, and I was like, whoa, my world was changed. And yeah, so that's how I kind of found the fandom, I guess, and it went on from there. Jazz Leon asks, aside from drawing and making suits, how are you involved in the fandom, like persona-wise, chatting to furs, etc.? How many hours does it take you to make an average digi-suit, and how do you generally tackle such a big product? And do you have any furs who inspire you? Quite a few questions. Okay, I'll go in order. How involved I am in the fandom? I would say that because I'm a suit maker, I'm very involved in the fandom. I keep up with a lot of people. I keep up with a lot of suit makers. I kind of going with the chatting. I'm not a very social person, and I'm kind of shy. So if I see somebody who's like popular, I probably won't talk to them because I'm like, I'm lame and you're cool. So, but I do talk to a lot of furs. Most of my friends right now are furs. Most of my friends who I currently have I met through the fandom. So yeah, I would say I'm pretty active. I go to cons pretty often. I try and keep up with like furry media. Like I watch a lot of furry artists, I commission art, what have you. So yeah, I would say I'm pretty active. Keep up with the drama. Okay, and how do you tackle such a big project? In parts, honestly. You break it down by the parts you want to accomplish. Every day I kind of set a goal for myself. I'm like, okay, today I'm going to get the lower half done, or today I'm going to get the arms done, or today I'm going to get the body done. And I do the same with the parts of the other commission. Today I'm going to get the hands done, today I'm going to, like that. You break it down. Don't think, oh my god, I gotta get the body done. No, break it down. It'll make it so much easier, and set realistic goals. Like I tell myself, okay, I'm going to get the arm sleeves done today, and if I get the arm sleeves done, I've succeeded in my goal and I feel good about myself. So that's how you do it. And do I have any furs that inspire me? That's a kind of broad question. Do you mean inspire like inspire me to be a better person? Or inspire me to like keep creating? Because I'm honestly inspired by most fursuits I see because I generally think they're really good. And so I wouldn't say a fur themselves inspires me, but more like when I see somebody's work, I'm like, hey, that's really cool. I want to see if I can achieve that, and that's kind of what inspires me. Okay, I'm reading from my phone, and once again, if I mispronounce your name, I'm sorry. Nami Namuji asks, are you hungry? What do you enjoy the most? Since when did you start drawing? What's a strange addiction you have? Okay, am I hungry? Yes, perpetually. It's a curse. It's my burden. What do you enjoy doing the most? Nothing. If I could do nothing my whole life, I would do nothing. I would sit on my couch and vegetate. That's the life, man. Since when did you start drawing? My parents say I've been drawing since I was a wee child, so I'm gonna go by their word and say probably before 5 years old. Don't even know. And what's a strange addiction you have? Chewing gum. I chew a lot of gum. I actually kind of kept track after reading this question just to see, and I finished a pack in about a day. That's 18 pieces of gum. I'm like a chain smoker when it comes to gum. I chew a piece, spit it out, immediately put another piece back. I don't know why, I just do it. And Trident, that's my only kind, because Trident lasts a long time. I don't dislike sugar-free gum, but you know sugar-free gum, the flavor goes. I'm a gum connoisseur, I would say. You can ask me about gum. Gum is the only food that I will try any flavor on. I will be super adventurous with gum. Give me any flavor, I will try it. I won't say I like it, but I'll try it. I could go on for days for gum, so I'm gonna stop. Sam Ardakan asked, when did you first realize you were a furry, and how many people know? I want to say I first realized I was a furry maybe in like 8th grade. Like I said before, that's when I kind of when I started figuring out what a furry was. And the minute I became furry, everybody knew. It wasn't something I was trying to hide, because I honestly didn't know much about the fandom. I just like, oh, it's an anthropomorphic animal, I'm a furry. I'm like, I didn't know it had negative connotations or what the fandom was about, and none of my friends really did either. So they're just like, cool, that's cool. And when I started making fursuits, my parents, obviously, they're like, what are you making? It's like an animal costume. They're like, so my parents have been super cool, my friends have been super cool, and like I said, most of my friends are furries, so basically everybody. I've never been really secretive about it. Lachlan asks, what subjects inspire you most? What do you, if anything, always feel compelled to draw? Okay, what subjects inspire me most? I want to say maybe with like, to create, I guess, music. I'm really inspired by music. Oftentimes I actually need to listen to music to create a concept. So I would say music. I really love history. History often inspires me, gives me great concepts, weird facts. And what do you, if anything, feel compelled to draw? Animals. They make me money. I draw animals, I get that dollar, so. But I'm starting to draw humans more, and I'm actually really enjoying drawing humans a lot. Atomic Splash asks, how many furry conventions have you attended, and or how did you come up with your persona? I have no idea how many fur cons I've attended. I'm not one of those people who keeps track. Let's just say I go to AC, FWA, and MFF generally every year, and I've been going to AC since 10th grade. So that's about 6 years. I've only gone to MFF like 3 times, and I would say probably 20 cons. That's a very rough estimate, don't quote me on it. And how did you come up with your persona? That's actually a long story, for another video. And let's just say I conceived my current elk design, fun furry fact, listening to Gangnam Style. Swear. I'll leave it at that. Okay, Fritz Kangaroo asks, who inspired you to make a fursuit? Like I said before, not really a who, more like a what. I kinda want, but I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. It's not really who, it's more like I made my first fursuit out of necessity, because I learned very early on that you commission suits, and my parents would not let me drop $2K on an animal costume. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make it myself. That's how I made my first fursuit. And actually, you can see him right up there, Shukaku from Naruto. My first fursuit cosplay. Still with me to this day. Okay, Emily Allen 0408 asks, how did you come up with the emoji dogs? That's another involved story, but I will say it happened a long time ago when I was in high school, and they are based on the song Sexting by Ludacris. I think it's Ludacris. Ludacris. No, it's Ludacris. It's definitely Ludacris. So if you have not heard that song, listen to it, and you will see where I got the emoji dogs and where I got their names from. Once again, I'm inspired by music. Icy Fire Comics asks, how long did it take you to get comfortable with your art style? A long time. I will say that. A long time. I went through all of high school and most of my early years of college copying other artists' style. And I'm not saying I copied per se, but I influenced heavily. Like, looking back at my 2012 art, I was trying to draw like a certain popular artist, and I can definitely see it in my art, and I'm a little ashamed, but at the same time, it helped contribute to what is my style now. So if you're doing that, I would say keep going at it, because I do not condone copying, I do not condone tracing, I do not condone any of that art thievery, but if you see parts of another artist style that kind of inspires you, definitely take from that. It's going to help you in the long run, as long as you can grow out of it, because like I'm pretty sure those who've seen my art can understand that I'm definitely not copying anyone's style at this point. But to give a reference frame, I want to say I really settled into my style maybe a year ago, and I've been out of college for like a year, so that should give you an example. So if you do not feel comfortable with your art style, don't panic. It's gonna take a while. Okay. 2SkyT7 asks some of my favorite questions. How did you come to be so in love with Star Wars? And who or what inspired you to pursue animation? What is your dream animation job? Okay, I'm gonna answer the animation one first, actually. What inspired me to pursue animation? Well, according to the millions of cover letters I filled out, when I was a child, I watched a lot of Disney movies, and I was like, hot damn, I'm gonna be an animator. So I honestly cannot tell you what inspired me. Like, as far as my parents say, all my art inspirations came from when I was really young, and being me, I don't remember when I was really young, so I'm just taking their word for it, and I'm just going with it. So there you go. I'm sorry if that's a stupid answer. And what's my dream animation job? I would say to work, you know, like Gravity Falls, Steven Universe. I've really wanted to work on shows like that, so I think that's probably what I would say my dream animation job is. I mean, I would like to produce my own show, but I don't think none of my dreams involve like creating my own studio or anything. I kind of want to go into something that's already established, because I've heard so many horror stories about people who've started their own animation companies. Hit me up at some other time for stories on that, I'll tell you. And how did I come to be so in love with Star Wars? For those who don't know right now, I kind of go through phases of my fandoms, as I'm sure most people do. And right now it's Star Wars. I've kind of been into it for the whole year. And I want to say that my enjoyment of Star Wars kind of predates 2016. I first got into Star Wars in 2006, when Revenge of the Sith came out. And I had the biggest hard-on for Anakin Skywalker, and I still do. He's my baby. Same with Darth Vader. But the biggest memory I have with Star Wars is we got the lightsabers, and back then they were super hard, and they were brutal. And me, my sister, and my one friend, we all got our own lightsabers, and we ran around our yard and we bashed each other with these things. We would hit each other. We pretend like we're lightsaber dueling, but we're not hitting the lightsabers back and forth. We're hitting each other. We're whacking each other. And those were the golden years. Yeah. And so that is my initial intro with Star Wars. And when The Force Awakens came out, I think it just rejuvenated my long dormant love of Star Wars. I've never not loved Star Wars, like since 2006 when Revenge of the Sith came out. I've just rediscovered it. Love it. Look at my hat. Empire. Right. PC Corgi asked, what was your favorite thing about being at SCAD? SCAD. I'm going to answer this question in two parts. I'm going to say my favorite thing being at SCAD, just like in the city, in the atmosphere, was my roommates. They were awesome. I had an awesome, like, last 2 years was pretty good. I'm not going to talk about the first 2 years because they were a little bumpy. But the last 2 years were pretty awesome. I had some really awesome roommates. We were jamming. We watched anime. We made fursuits. Oh, it was a good time. Good years, I'll say that. What is my favorite thing about being SCAD as a school? I want to say it's staff, and I want to say it's classes, because its staff is really knowledgeable, they know what they're talking about, and the classes you are gonna learn a lot. And you're also gonna struggle a lot, especially if you're kind of going into this for the first time. But you're definitely gonna come out kind of, I will say you're gonna kind of come out feeling like, I went to SCAD, I'm pretty good. Bleeding Snow asks, are you a talking fursuiter? Do you have an opinion on whether people should talk in suit or not? I'm not really a talking suitor. I'll talk to my friends if like they come up to me, but I don't really talk to people. I'll talk to other suitors, but to like kids, I don't talk. And my opinion on people who talk, do what you want. I really don't care. I don't have an opinion for or against. You do you. That is my Q&A vid for this round. I definitely would like to do another one if you guys have more questions or if I didn't get to your question. So leave some comments below on other questions you have. One last thing I'm going to say is Maverick Huskers asks, thoughts on younger furries. I'm actually going to make a separate video for this because I have a few thoughts I would like to share on that, because I've actually been thinking about that question for a long time before this like call for Q&A. So look for that as my next video, my thoughts on younger furries. Okay, that's it everyone. I hope you liked this video. Yeah, see you next time, yo! One question I forgot to answer before I showered was Vix, who asked, what is your favorite butt? This fluff butt.